What's up guys, it's Endymion, and today I want to explore one of the most iconic and powerful races in the Mass Effect franchise, how they were, what happened to them, and how this race could evolve in the future of the franchise. Today, I want to talk about the Protheans, the valiant race that paved the way for humanity's eventual victory over the Reapers. Let's begin. The Protheans were a massively powerful race of beings that enslaved lesser races into their empire to do their bidding. The Protheans were also one of the most impressive and devastating examples of alien races in the Mass Effect universe. The Protheans were a proud race that conditioned and raised specific individuals in their society for certain positions or jobs. Javik, the last living Prothean to our knowledge, for example, was bred and raised to be the avatar of vengeance. His sole reason for existing was to survive the Reaper invasion alongside others of his kind via cryosleep and in time exact literal vengeance upon the Reaper threat in the future to save the Prothean Empire. But the Reapers, like always, were many steps ahead of their victims, and indoctrinated agents within the Prothean Empire ended up exposing and selling out their comrades, leading to the eventual downfall of not only the Prothean people, but the utter genocide and erasure of all cultures deemed advanced enough at the given time. The Protheans, however, in terms of the future of the Mass Effect franchise, are standing in a very interesting and unique position going forward. Assuming you did awaken Javik in Mass Effect 3, I can theorize that with Javik surviving the Reaper War, his race could, in theory, survive and prosper extremely well. I speak a lot about the Reapers here on this channel, and one theory I always come back to is the idea of each Reaper housing the genetic material of entire extinct races within them. Obviously, this would mean there's a Reaper out there amidst the countless corpses left after the war, swimming in the genetic material of the Prothean people. Javik, being trained and conditioned to be the future leader of the Prothean people, would essentially have had the opportunity to fulfill his birthright, and with the help of the other races, could bring his once proud and prosperous race back from the depths of oblivion. Of course, the next problem would be, how would Javik effectively translate or imbue these potentially newborn Protheans into every fine detail of their culture when there's only so much one person could do? Thankfully, the Protheans thought of this too, and we know that the Protheans have created technology such as the beacon in Mass Effect 1, which Shepard and Saren both use on Eden Prime to be an effective way of instantly transmitting large amounts of information directly into the mind of its user. Obviously, this technology didn't work properly for Shepard at first, because as it's revealed, the technology was never meant to be interpreted or used by anyone who wasn't a Prothean. So if Javik could, in theory, create a new beacon, or beacons plural, with the help of the Asari, Salarians, and so on, Javik could bestow his extensive knowledge on the history, traditions, and so on to the new Prothean people by uploading it, for lack of a better word, to a new beacon, and having each new Prothean expose themselves to the new beacon like Shepard did on Eden Prime, and voila. Suddenly you would have, in theory anyway, an entire nation of new Prothean people, all with the knowledge of their race before. Of course, this would be great for the Prothean people, and Javik would have accomplished his mission, but like always, I have to look at this whole situation from a darker, more cynical angle. If the Prothean people were to be taught, trained, and exposed to their previous culture and customs, then the new Prothean race would inevitably also become aware of their previous, almost borderline, tyrannical way of expansion in the galaxy too. Of course, Javik could choose not to upload this information, but we don't know if Prothean technology would allow for select exact memories to be uploaded, or if it's all just one giant info dump. You could also argue that Javik would not want to lie to his people, and due to his training and upbringing, would think it's necessary to teach the new Prothean race everything about their race just as they were, the good, the bad, and leave none of it unchanged, basically making it so the new Protheans would be just as they were before, just now free to live without the threat of Reaper attack. But this would lead into another potential theory or story idea, and that would be that if the new Prothean race were given certain worlds to populate and live on in a post-Reaper war, eventually the Prothean race would fall back into old habits or ideals and push to become the apex leader race like they were so many cycles ago again. We could see a resurgence of the Prothean Empire, but this time free from the shackles of the Reapers, and maybe even outfitted and adapted to Reaper technology, further enhancing the Prothean military power capabilities. We know that the Protheans were not only a race of warmongers, but also capable of incredibly scientific experiments and achievements as well. I mean, the planet of Ilos was one of the only locations in the galaxy that survived the Reaper invasion and was left largely untouched until Saren and Shepard arrived on it some 50,000 years later. Not to mention, the Protheans are the only race, to my knowledge, that was able to create a mini mass relay on a planet, in this case Ilos, that allowed for instant travel from Ilos to the Citadel in an instant. The same slingshot mass relay Shepard and their crew uses near the ending of the first game to arrive at the Citadel and face Saren and his forces once and for all. That means the Protheans had a backdoor entrance to the center of Reaper control for well over 50,000 years, and the Reapers didn't even notice. If the Protheans were able to outsmart the Reapers to some degree, unlike other races before, who's to say they won't develop and strengthen themselves in secret away from the prying eyes of the Solarians or Asari, to one day eventually become potent enough to rise up and enslave the races that were once primitive during the Prothean cycle before. I know some would want to look at the Protheans in the future as simply as good guys that'll help us out at any given moment without any pushback, but when you had a race that was once the absolute masters of a known space during their time, being delegated to no longer being what they once were, I can almost guarantee that some Protheans, at the very least, will want to rise up and control everything as they once did. They may even claim it to be their birthright, which would just be a nice way of saying the Protheans are going to put on their genocide pants and take the other races to Slave City. Obviously, we won't know until the future of this series is revealed, but the Protheans are sitting, in my opinion, in one of the most convenient and exploitative positions out of all the known races in a post-Reaper world. Because as some of us unfortunately have experienced, the knife you never expect sometimes comes from the hands of a friend. Well guys, that's the video on the Protheans and their potential comeback in the future of the Mass Effect franchise. Oh yeah, I'm going to be doing a Mass Effect Legendary Edition stream tomorrow for the first time ever on Twitch. I'll leave the Twitch channel link in the description below. I'm going to be playing the very first Mass Effect game from the beginning on the hardest difficulty because I need the trophy for that still, and I'll be letting you guys choose what happens to the galaxy. I already know the galaxy is going to be screwed with this decision, but it should be fun. I'll be playing around 2 p.m. Mountain Time here in Canada, so I hope you'll check it out, and I'm just going to be honest up front. I am not a master of Twitch or how it works, so if there's any technical difficulties or I don't do things right, I'm still figuring it out. Anyways, if you like what you've seen and you want to see more, there's plenty of Mass Effect content on my channel. Please like and subscribe to help a new YouTuber out. I'm ENDYMION. I'll see you in the next one, and hopefully I'll see you on the stream too. It'll be like 2 hours long. I don't want to stream for too long at first. Just want to dip my toes in it, you know? But then maybe later on, I'll keep playing the game, we'll go through it, and then if the first game, me streaming it, gets, I guess, received well, we'll move on to the second game, and then the third game, and I'm sure by the third game, with your guys' choices, the galaxy's going to be absolutely screwed at that point, but it's fine. So anyway, see you in the next one, maybe see you on the stream, see you next time.